When you look at cartoons, movies, games, anime, you get that shine in your eyes and urge arises as you contemplate if working on one of those cool shots you saw is a potential job for your future. Yeah, that Demon Slayer scene was pretty cool, innit? Being an animator sounds all cool and stuff, but the truth is, it ain't for anyone.
NANI?
Hi, welcome to Keys with Gwen, and today we are talking about 10 things to consider if you want to be an animator. I'll give you an example. When I was in art college, my foundation class started with 30 to 40 people. Then when we get into our chosen respective course/specialization of choice, which brings our class to around 20 people taking the animation course. Then 3 years later, 20 of us graduated. Good thing. Fast forward 3 years, and only less than half of us are working in the animation industry. Why does this happen? Probably because the animation industry has its own perks, which are actually not for everyone.
Then dropping out equals a number of years wasted, right?
Yes, but no experience is considered wasted. It just took a few years and a good slap to wake up. So before you think of being an animator as a profession, here are 10 things to consider if you want to be an animator, which consists of the pros and cons of the job scope. Let's begin! Point 1. It is a skill that requires constant and consistent improvement. If you have been to art college or are in one currently, you'll realize that it is an endless grind of assignments, feedbacks, rinse and repeat. Ever had this thought?
Since I've just started learning a new skill, it's normal that it's hard and time-consuming. When I start to work and get used to it, the rush will be less and I can relax, I guess.
Well, to be honest, as an animator, it is suggested to polish your animation skills consistently. If you really want to improve in a short amount of time, practice during your free time. Animate personal shots, especially the things that you like. Keep the fire burning inside. The good thing about this is you can include these shots into your portfolio, which can showcase your diverse skills and prove that you have the intention of improvement and progress. Feel like that's not your thing and want something other than animation during your free time? It's okay too. Take some time off, learn at your own pace, but do be aware of this being a constant thing as part of the job scope. 2. Feedback. Constructive, not personal. As an animator, we always want to get feedback on our shots. When you work on one thing for too long, you'll be blinded by the shot or by your limited knowledge on how to improve it. A pair of fresh eyes is always ideal to pinpoint the parts of the shot where it doesn't work. One thing to know is, feedback is never personal. I understand. You've taken so much time and effort to animate the shot and you're proud of it, yet your lecturer, senior or the client says it's otherwise. And now your work goes down the drain. So to recap, feedback is never personal and it is constructive, professional, taken with care and consideration as well. But as animators, we also have to filter through some of the feedback and gauge whether it's relevant and possible to do within a given time. 3. Competitiveness. The animation industry is very competitive. It's not the first time we heard this, and every job in it has its own different levels of competitiveness. Jobs that are more competitive would be concept/character artists, while on the other spectrum, the less competitive jobs would be the technical artists. To simplify, the more artistically creative the work, the more competitive it is. I'd say the animator is probably in the middle because it is a mixture of the artistic and technical skills. But every year, thousands of fresh, aspiring artists graduate and enter the market. So the question is, how do you compete with the fresh juniors and make your work stand out? Like out of 1,000, how are you going to shine and be the one that the recruiters say, I want that guy? 4. It is a balance of creative and technical problem-solving skills. If 2D is mostly about creativity and art skills, then 3D is a mixture of creative and technical skills. Because you're working with a software, you'll have to learn to work with it first, especially when it's doing something that you don't want to. Troubleshooting issues in the software, fixing them, and making sure they don't mess with your deadline when the troubleshooting issues in the software, fixing them, and making sure they don't mess with you when the deadline's tight. I mean, It's kind of terrifying when you have a deadline soon and Maya's crashing on you and you forgot to save. Shoot! All of this is to ensure that your animating experience is more than headaches and screams. Knowing the software you use definitely saves up a lot of time for your workflow, hence the need to have technical skills if you want to be a 3D animator. Simple as that. No, it's not simple. I'm so sorry. I should have said that because it's so hard. 5. Teamwork and working with cool people. If you're the type that works well in a team, then you like the dynamic in the animation department. It's all about teamwork. As an animator, we are required to mingle with our team to either find the best way to approach the shot or talk about Pokemon Go. Who says we are all work and no fun? A PS4 and CTR is all it takes to get to know the colleagues from other departments as well. Other than fun talks on the pantry, we also share information about the newest scripts, tools, and Maya discoveries with each other, not to mention poses in the beginning and end of the shot for continuation purposes. This is one thing that we have to keep in mind as animators because it's all about continuation in anything, including the film industry, games, or even TV series. This means when two people are assigned shots back to back, a continuation of the pose from the end of the first shot to the beginning of the second shot is needed. And this is where communication comes to play. Oh, and did I mention that animators are the coolest people to work with? Majority of the people that I work with are kind, humble, hardworking, and brilliant artists, and they are highly skillful. It's always a pleasure to be able to work with them. It comes true from my heart. 6. It takes a lot of patience and it is not an instant gratifying job. For all my good non-animator viewers out there, do you know how much time does it take to animate, let's say, a 10-second scene of two characters talking with each other? If you're talking about TV series quality. On average, 10 hours. If you want to get into the nitty-gritty details, make that 14 hours. Animation is a job that works frame by frame. Every frame is done with intention and thought, so it takes a lot of patience as it is time consuming. Compared to other jobs, it is not one that gives you instant gratification, as you can't produce something in a few hours and feel that rush of high. Like, yes, those 2 hours were worth it and I've achieved something that I'll be proud of and put into my portfolio. That's rarely the case, to be honest. In the film industry, you'll have an even longer time to work on your shots. So maybe for months, you'll be looking at the same shot over and over again. Patience, my dude. Patience. So this is something that all animators deal with, and if it sounds like your kind of thing, welcome to the club! 7. Long working hours and crunch time. As of what you learned 10 seconds ago, since animation takes such a long time to do, what follows is long working hours. The deadline does not wait for you, and when you realize you have more than what you can handle on your plate, in this situation you will have two options. 1. Panic! Then realize you have to do overtime to complete your shots, and when you're at the finish line, you notice you're done overtime for 5 consecutive days or worse, it never ends. Or 2, you flip the table, tell your superior that it is impossible to achieve and proceed to ask for help from other members. Although voicing out that it is not possible to your superiors is fine. Option number 2 is mostly frowned upon because someone assigns a shot to you based on your level and skills. And if you could not finish on time, it shows a certain level of competence. As animators, we know that, so we usually just go for option number 1, which ends up in long working hours in front of monitors, trying to catch up as much as we can. But fret not, Freddy. This does not happen all the time. But I say about 12 months, there will be 2 to 3 months that will be that way. And yeah, usually we'll call it crunch time. 8. Stress levels and deadlines. If the previous point sounds fun, wait till you get to the stress that goes with the job. Every job has stress, and we are required to handle and perform according to such criteria. So what makes the animator's stress levels noteworthy? It accumulates through time and it is based on your teammates and skills. As a team, you have the same goal, the same deadline, just different shots and different responsibilities. But the closer the deadline is, there tends to be that one person who is who isn't able to plan his or her time nicely, hence causing more work to pile up at the end. In the end, they call for help from other teammates to work on their jobs. Unless they have a very good explanation. This just puts more work onto other people, and they had to work on more that's on their plate. Imagine if you're that person who gets handled more work from colleagues who can't finish, and it's close to the deadline. How'd you feel? Stressed, I bet. Well, not all animators are like that. It does happen. So be prepared to handle accumulated stress as an animator when necessary. 9. Salary and pay. One reason why I see people leaving this industry is because the salary of an animator/artist is not up to their expectations. Let's put it this way. If you want to be a millionaire, the animator's path is not for you. We are paid decently, but if at its worst, a little over the minimum wage. In the States, animators are paid fairly due to the presence of the Animation Guild. I'll leave a link in the description below on what that is. The Animation Guild basically is a guideline on how much an animator or someone in the industry has to be paid. It's like a benchmark line for it. So the States have that. But what about the rest of the world? To be honest, in Malaysia, our salary gets us by in life, but it's not easy to have loans, payments, family to take care of, or even to have a lifestyle of traveling overseas each year. And in some companies, the increment you might or might not get doesn't even catch up with inflation. But fear not, it isn't every company that treats their employees this way. And if you want to know how to bargain and discuss your salary with the employer, I have a video here that will help you to approach the matter. So if this does not sound like the lifestyle that you want, then best if you choose another industry that gives you more for your time. 10. Consider other professions but in parallel with animation. So after listening to all of these points and you realize that you don't want to be an animator, but you still want to work in the animation industry, consider other professions. If you prefer an artsy role and creation from scratch, look for pre-production roles like scripting, concept art, modeling, asset creation, and such. Or if you like to add the finishing touches to a scene, compositors, lighters, or sound effects works too. There are also management roles to consider, or IT roles, which are always needed in an animation studio. They are our lifesavers! To add a note, the points mentioned from before still apply to these jobs, but on different levels of intensity. Even if you would not like to work with a team and such, there are always options to be a full-time freelancer. So there are many ways to join the animation industry, and hopefully you'll find your match soon. So that's it, guys. I hope these 10 tips will help you consider whether you really would like to pursue being an animator. A wise but not so wise person once said, "Do what you love, and you'll never work another day in your life." That's not true. Work is work, and it comes with a set amount of expectations and returns. Passion is important, yes, but grinding through your days as an animator solely with passion won't help in the long run, hence the term burnout. It is important to take these points into consideration before you jump into a job purely based on passion. Otherwise, you might realize 3 years had passed just like that. So if this video helped you and gave you a little bit of an insight on what animators have to deal with, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. I'll be posting videos once every 2 weeks to talk about a new topic in the animation industry. If you're happy, great! If you're sad, don't be sad. And I'll see you in the next one. See ya!